Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's session. It's great to have you here. I'm joined by Amy Burns, who's moderating again today. Yay! Good, so good always to have Amy here. Such a relief. See, lots of people are signing in to the chat window, which is a fantastic thing. So hello and welcome to those that have already introduced themselves. I can see a few from Australia where I am. It's cold here in Melbourne today, and I'm in a different location in my house. I don't know if any of you can tell. I'm in the kitchen at the moment because I'm currently trying to set up an office, and I'm in that limbo of the new desk is not set up. So I'm on the dining table, which could be good or not. But the light's much better in this room, so it's a good thing.
You look good. You look good.
And you do too. It's dark there though, right?
It's 8 o'clock. The girls are outside playing because they have finished school. I'm finishing up this week with meetings, but they're done, and so they're enjoying those summer nights.
So good. Yeah, we don't have that at the moment. We're on the we've started winter, but the good news is most of our schools have a break in a couple of weeks' time, so that's not too bad. We have 2 weeks break and then back to it after that. But you guys are all finishing up the school year, so that's exciting. So let us know in the chat window, have you finished where you are, or are you still going? I know some people's, 8 days to go, says Judy. Not too long. Can't wait to hear all the practical ready-to-use ideas. Yes, hopefully that's true today. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the session too, Jim. Who says that? And Kathy said a message earlier, she's been teaching STEAM. Oh, that's in a summer enrichment course. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Lots of people from the States, yeah. Marianne's finished till August. That's exciting. David finished on Friday. Amanda finished. Jerry had last day today.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
Tuesday finished. That's weird. Is that weird? I don't know. Maybe not. Carla's school goes year round. Oh my goodness. Are you at what's that model called? I can't remember. Whereabouts are you based, Carla? Oh, South Carolina. You said that. Just read the message again. So we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. We've gone on a bit later today, live later. I had to fix up some things. I was having not really technical things, actually dog-related things as well. Those that are regular to these webinars will know I have a dog that literally she's fast asleep all day, except for the time where I'm talking to people on a webinar. So you may or may not see or hear her later on. I'm sitting near to the door, which is open so that she can just come and go. We don't have a dog flap, so she has to be let out each time, which is kind of annoying. And it's cold, so I may start to go numb after a while. Anyway, we'll be fine.
I'm feeling for Holly. Holly has to go until the 25th of June.
Oh no, that's
feeling for her. I know I have colleagues in New Jersey who go that late as well.
Yeah, wow. Is that about the latest everybody finishes? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I read Melissa. Melissa said August 15th, and I thought that was when she was going to start her vacation. Starting up again back then.
Yeah, I mean, some in the States here, they finish in May, so they start again in August. And then some of us go until June and don't start until after Labor Day in September.
Yeah. It's so varied there. I think I say this every year, but here we kind of all finish around the same time, give or take a few. Well, I guess not, maybe. At the very end of the year, our private schools tend to finish quite a bit earlier than our public state schools. We always make the joke that you pay a lot more for less school days. So
sometimes our days are longer though in private school. I have noticed that, like, we will start earlier and go later, especially like when you're thinking elementary, these little kindergartners, the 5-year-olds that are going a much longer day. Wow. So that's why I think that's how they balance it. That's how they can end a little bit earlier.
I don't think that's the trend here though. Same number of hours in our day, basically 9 till 3 or so. And again, sometimes there's half an hour difference at each end of the day. But the private school thing, there's more commitment outside of school hours. So that's true. Sport particularly, it's like compulsory sport on Saturdays. I did that for many years. Yeah. And the teachers have to, well, I don't know if it's still the same, but the teachers when I went had to actually do a commitment of coaching or looking after a sport team, even if they were a music teacher and had no idea about sport. So there you go.
Luckily, the upper school teachers in my school have to do that, but not us in the lower school.
Yeah, yep, got it. Dale's just asked, what format do you need to find the notes, copy and paste references made during the presentation? There's a link at the very top of the chat window, which should take you to a page where you can download the guide where everything is going to be. I started to make a separate Wakelet collection because I'm not showing everything in the free guide that I'm giving away today. But then I just realized it was ridiculous to replicate everything in a Wakelet collection. So just download the PDF. Maybe just make notes of titles of things that I'm going to show you so you can then go and search for it in the guide somewhere because it's got, 30, I don't know. It's got a number of pages. Anyway, so that's all good. And yeah, I think this should be cool. So I will just organize myself and get started. JC says Wakelet has helped me so much this year. Yeah, me too. I've found it so useful. And in fact, next month's webinar is going to be all about Wakelet and ways you can use it for yourself and with your students. So there you go. All right, we'll say goodbye to Amy on the screen for the moment, but she'll be in the chat window. And I will share my screen and get over to my keynote slides. And do this. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome to those watching on the webinar watch page, which has the chat window next to it. And welcome to everyone who's watching on YouTube directly too, because there's a few people always over there. Amy is very skilled at looking at both windows and we'll try and keep an eye on everything and say hello to everybody in all the places. So feel free to ask questions. Now, today's webinar is all about free tech resources and I'm kind of excited about this one today. It's something that I've talked about for a long time and I'm going to just cover some of my favourite things that I've come up with. So if you're new to these webinars, my name is Katie and I run Midnight Music. I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, where it's winter. And I have a couple of boys and a dog that you can see there on the screen. I basically do this for a living. I run my own business training music teachers in all things technology related, which I really love. And I've done it for quite a number of years now. And I have a podcast and a blog. And I do conferences and events when they're actually running. So that hasn't happened for a while yet, but I'm looking forward to maybe getting back to that later this year, at least in Australia, New Zealand. Fingers crossed. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Sometimes you might have tech issues. It's usually your end, like internet related. So just refresh the page or go out and come back into the page and see if that's working for you. You can try directly on YouTube if you're having no luck watching it in the embedded page. I always say kick your kids off the PlayStation and Netflix and get a bit more internet power. I will be providing a copy of the slides that you'll see. So if you're not sort of sitting there taking down names of things that I'm showing, you get to see the slides eventually anyway. And as mentioned, there's a link at the top of the chat window where you can download the ultimate free music tech resources guide. I never get the title right. I made it up myself and I never get it right. And that has everything that I'm going to mention today. So Amy's going to stay on and be the moderator of the chat. I will pop in at the very end and we will have an open Q&A session at that time. So this is what the guide looks like, kind of. This is a mock-up which makes it look a little bit like a very thick book, but which it's not really. It's a PDF version, but you can download it. So you can see there it's got around 50 new listings in this year's guide. We did have to remove a few things, but 50 new listings. And there are more than 26 different categories that are in the guide. And in each category, there's a number of free resources that you might find useful. So you can download it at that link there, and it's on the chat window as well. Okay, so for this session, I'm not going to go through the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things inside that PDF that you can download. I'm just picking a few favourites to show. I've got a few new things that I want to show, and they're not necessarily new in the world. They are sometimes just new to me, or I don't know, things that I've actually got a few things that are not new at all, but I feel like not many people know about them or appreciate them yet. So I'm showing those. And I will actually mention a few old favorites as well. Now, before we get on to that, I do want to mention this is if you would like help after today. I want to mention that we've set up a special trial offer for people who are watching this webinar. And this is an offer where you can join me inside the Midnight Music community and Amy as well. She helps me out inside the community. And this is where you can access lots of courses, online courses, workshops, and a community forum where Amy and I answer everybody's questions. It's a private forum area, and we really encourage all questions. No question is ever too silly or too dumb, because I know a lot of people think that what they're asking is, you know, a silly question, but it really isn't. And if one person has a question, my theory is always that lots of people have the same question. So if you'd like to do that and test out the community and see how it is, we've got a $1 trial for 14 days. So this is US $1 for those of my friends who are in Australia. And you can access that at the link you can see on the screen there. So midnightmusic.com.au/trial. I don't know if Brielle's on today. I've pinched one of her quotes. She was saying lots of nice things when I was running a 5-day challenge once. And I said to her, if you say nice things, I will share them around in my marketing and so on. So there you go. Hello to Brielle. All right, so let's get on to the free resources. So just a few notes first. These are free resources, and for the most part, they tend to be simple tools. That's not true of everything that I'm going to show, but they do tend to be simple tools. So I think sometimes people have this expectation that the software or app or website they're using needs to do all the things they want. And in my mind, if it's a free tool, I'm kind of come from the other point of view where, hey, this is great and it's free and it does these things, and maybe it's not everything. I like to think of these tools as a way to supplement things that you are paying for, because you're always going to get a better product when it's a paid option, and you're going to get more features and better service, generally speaking, for paid options. So for the free ones, you know, they're really not going to do everything you need. I will also say that it's so important to check the age requirements or privacy policy of the website that you're using. So this is particularly if you're working with under 13-year-olds. Many sites are free but not suitable for students of a young age to use. So you really do need to check that. And even if you are teaching students over the age of 13, your school policy may be that you can't use certain sites. So just check everything ahead of time to avoid disappointment when you are relying on using a site in your next lesson and then you find out actually you're not permitted to use it, or it's blocked at your school. That's a good thing to check. The other thing to keep in mind is that these sites, look, they do disappear at times or just stop working, because sometimes the developer just doesn't have the time anymore to spend on this free project. Often it's a side project for people, and you just got to be wary that they will disappear. So I check everything before I'm going to use it in a workshop or a lesson or anything like that. Make sure that you double check that the thing is still there. I have had times where things have disappeared and I've had to completely rethink what I'm doing in a workshop or a conference presentation. So just good to check. And the last thing before we get on to the actual free resources is, most of you know this, I think, by now, that Flash-based sites disappeared at the end of 2020, unless the developer decided to switch them over to newer technology. So Flash itself was discontinued at the end of 2020. There was years and years of warning. This was not a surprising, shocking thing, although I know a lot of teachers were surprised. It was discontinued, and that was announced a long time ago. So there were a number of free sites that I know many of you were using, and they just did not survive. They didn't make the cut. You just need to kind of let it go, unfortunately, and find other options. And I think there are enough other options around, and I will hopefully mention a few of those today. Okay, my first section, I want to talk about cool things you might not have tried yet. So these are things that some are new-ish to me, and some of them are not new to me at all, but I just wanted to mention them because I think that they are really useful and maybe need a little bit of a spotlight. So these are in no particular order whatsoever. I've just dumped them all in here. So the first one is called Sodaphonic, and this is my new favorite online recording tool. This is for recording audio and editing audio. And if you've used Audacity, this is an online version of Audacity. So I'm not going to jump into everything online and show you live all of these different sites today, but I am going to show you a couple. And for Sodaphonic, I've actually pre-recorded a little video of me recording myself and then showing you how some of the effects work. So I'll show you that in a second. But this allows you to record and edit online, and it works on all devices, every device. Chromebooks, Macs, PCs. I tested it on my iPad and it worked beautifully. It's really easy to use and no sign-in required at all. You do need to sign in if you want to save or download your project, but if you just want to use it online, there's no sign-in required. So I know that that's a help for some teachers. Let me show you what this looks like. So here's a short video that I've recorded. I'm going to talk over the top of this to describe what I'm doing on the screen. You will also hear me record myself in the video, and it's me just counting to 10. That's my very nice recording. So Sodaphonic, you go there and you basically choose whether you're going to upload an existing audio file or record something new. So I'm recording something new here, giving access to my microphone, and I'm recording numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once you've finished, you can see you've got the waveform here and it's really clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So simple and easy to play back. You can trim empty space off the start, select and delete. And I'm just going to show you how some of the effects work. I'm going to select some audio, go to the effects menu and choose reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here's another one. This is me, what am I doing? Bleeping out the number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here's another one. This is me slowing down the audio. Select, go to effects and choose slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully you could hear all of that. It's just super easy to use. Now, if you want to download what you've done, you do need to sign in. So you just have a free account. I've got one already set up, so I'm signing in here using my LastPass account. And once I've done that, then I can go to the share menu, give my file a title, click share, and I get a link to share that file immediately. So I can copy that to the clipboard and then send that. So if I'm a student, I can send that to the teacher. The other option that I'm doing here is I can download the file. Like that was a bit quick at the end there, but I can download the file as an MP3 and save it to my hard drive. So that's a fantastic tool. I really like this one. It's just super simple and easy to use, and I think it's a great option. So I showed you talking in that video, but you can use it for music projects, of course. You can record singing or playing. And other effects that are really useful in that effects menu are to select some audio and choose the word fade in from the effects menu or fade out, and it will immediately or automatically apply a fade in to the audio that you've selected on the screen. Great for doing podcasts, great for doing quick recordings of music that you might use for video projects, anything really, but just a super simple tool. All right, the next one, this is a recent one. Thanks to Amy and I have a friend, Jim Frankel in the States, and he shared this on Facebook the other day. A couple of people shared it, actually. This one's called Beastbox. I won't actually jump into this one today, but if you've used Incredibox, which has like human beatboxes, it's a little bit like that, but with animals, and it's a fantastic cross-curricular tool, I think. So, excuse me, you can choose an animal from the menu at the bottom, and once you click on the little icon down the bottom, the animal appears on the stage. So you can see in my little picture there, I've got a dolphin and a whale and a few other things there. And once you add them to the stage, they start beatboxing or making sounds. And they are animal sounds. It's quite funny. And you can have up to 5 at once on the screen. And once you've added 5, if you happen to choose 5 that live in the same ecosystem, you will unlock a special thing that's on the top right-hand side there. So if you choose, for instance, 5 animals from the Great Barrier Reef ecosystem, then it will unlock the Great Barrier Reef extra feature there. And in addition to that, if you scroll down on this page, you're going to see lots of really useful information about each of the animals. And for this reason, it makes a great cross-curricular possible activity, maybe even with other teachers at your school. Now, we did have Amy and I both had some problems. Well, I found them working at first, but on the page where you scroll down, there's information. There's actually a play button, and you can listen to the original field recording. These are all based on actual field recordings of the animals. And unfortunately, they weren't working. They seemed to be working for me one day, and now they're not working. So I'm not sure why that is, but you can still see the information there. You just may not be able to play that field recording. There's a great TED talk by the person that put this site together and who actually uses the recordings of these animals as a DJ. He uses them to create beats, and it's a TED talk that you can watch. I watched that the other day. It's only short. I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes or so. So a great thing to show for your students too. Okay, this one did the rounds a lot. I don't know when it was, maybe late last year or so. This is Blob Opera. Blob Opera, man, it's kind of weird, but fascinating and cool and funny all at the same time. So you will open up the website, you click on one of these blobs on the screen, and they sing for you. Of course they do, because, you know, why wouldn't they? And when you move your mouse up and down, the pitch will change and their body shape actually changes with it. I think this could be a great website for showing young students things like pitch. So high and low pitches. Fantastic also, if you're a choral teacher or singer, mouth shape is something that you can see really clearly with these blobs. They only sing vowel sounds. So they sing sort of oohs and ahs and e's. And that all depends on where your mouse is, you know, dragging up and down the screen. But the ooh sound particularly has a great shape, animated shape on these blobs. So fantastic for teaching. Now, I was wondering, you can actually listen to like proper songs performed by these blobs, because when you do it yourself, it's a bit hard to sort of have true control over what they're singing. But you can actually do a couple of things. There are some preset songs that people have created using these blobs. And you can also plug in a MIDI keyboard. So if you've got a keyboard that you can plug into your laptop, you can actually play on the keyboard and the blobs will play for you. So you can get a lot more control over which notes they're singing at which time. The only issue with that is that you don't have control over which blob is singing which part on the keyboard. So if you play a high note, it will probably be performed by the soprano. Sometimes it might switch over to the mezzo, or I don't know if she's an alto or a mezzo, but you can't sort of control the division of the split, if you know what I mean. Still, lots of fun and just a great website to explore. Okay, another one that I think is really worth exploring if you haven't yet, and I'm going to, confession time here, I took a while to actually have a go at Blicket. So this is Blicket or Bluket. This is a quiz-based website, so you can create your own quizzes. You can gamify learning on this website. Now, I saw this do the rounds for quite a long time. Like, I heard about it so much, a lot longer than before I actually had a go with it. And I think this is probably true for a lot of you. You see the names of things and you're like, nah, I don't have time to look at that right now. Like, do I need it anyway? Do I need another thing? I'm already using Kahoot and Quizzes and all these other things. But I actually ended up having a proper play with this, and it is unique. It's a little bit different to some of those other gamification tools. And I have a feeling, well, I know for a fact that my own boys who are teenagers, they're like Kahoot, but they're kind of over it. You know, let's be honest here. They've played Kahoot quizzes for a long time now, and we're talking multiple years. So to have something different is a really good thing. Blicket also, I thought was, from the graphics that they have on their website, I kind of thought it was aimed more at very young children. And I don't think that's the case at all. Actually, when I had a look at it, the games that they have can be definitely played by older middle school students. So a couple of points of difference here. You create a set of questions and you upload them to the site, and then you can create a game out of the questions that you've created. The great thing about Blicket is that it has multiple game styles. So I can't remember how many, maybe 5 or 6 at least different games. And once you've uploaded your questions, you can use them for the different games. So you can say, I want to do a Kahoot style quiz, or I want to do this other, I chose to do a battle, like a one-on-one battle. I can't remember what it's called. Someone will know in the chat window. But it just presented the same information, but in a different way. I was still answering the questions as a student, but it was just a different way to do it. And the other great thing, and it sounds strange that this is a benefit, but it recycles your questions in the same game. So if you have 10 questions set up and your student plays through those 10 questions in whichever game format they're playing, after that, it will start using the same questions over and over again. Now, you would sort of think that was not a good thing because, hey, they've seen the question and they now know which was the incorrect answer or the correct answer. But I kind of think it's really good. It's more of a revision exercise then. They're getting practice and they're seeing these things. It's a repetitive thing. And I actually think it could help for learning. The other aspect of this is that the game styles you don't need to always have this competition and leaderboard. And I think this is a really great thing. I know Kahoot gets, lots of kids love Kahoot and it speaks to their competitive nature. But I know that Kahoot probably freaks a lot of kids out. It's too much pressure. It's like, I can't win, so I just won't do anything. I'm sure that there are a number of students that feel that way. And the way you can play Blicket is just not like that. It's quite different. You can also search for existing question sets. So go and have a look and see if other teachers have already set up a set of questions that will work for you, but you can use your own. All right. Who's used Blicket? Maybe you're all commenting in the chat window, which I can't see right now. But it's a good thing. Yeah, Amy's giving me a thumbs up. Thanks, Amy. All right, another one here. This is a quick and easy one. And I stumbled across this actually while I went to grab a screenshot of something for the PDF guide that we were putting together. And we were just finishing some things off last week. And then I found a couple of new things. So there you go. This is on the Toy Theatre website, and they have a number of, heaps and heaps of tools for all subject areas, but they have a number of music tools. And I saw this one, which I hadn't seen before. So I don't know if it's new, just new to me maybe. But you can drag, I know a lot of you do this already, and I know a lot of people have made Google Slides to replicate this action where you've got blocks like Cuisenaire rods in maths. You've got blocks and you can relate them to whole notes and half notes and quarter notes and eighth notes. And then students can really easily see the length, the rhythmic length of a note compared to the rhythmic length of other notes, which might be shorter or longer. Now, this one allows you to drag those notes into the grid that you can see at the top. I'll actually jump across to this website and then you can play them back. So it's kind of cool. Now, there's a couple of drawbacks. I really wish they'd add a few simple things to this. Is me saying, accept what these free websites do and don't do. But for this one, I really do wish they would add something. So let me just flick across here to the website. So here it is here. So I can drag my note up into the grid here, and then I can drag here, and maybe let's add these ones. And I'll leave it at that. So I can play this back. Now, the rest of the grid, so here's what I thought originally. I thought, oh, this is cool. Let's make my melody longer. So then I went to add a note here, and let's go down again, and then here, only to find that these don't play one after the other. They play all at the same time. Which is okay once you know, but I kind of wanted just a longer melody. But again, I'm okay with that. I'm accepting of what the tool does. So basically you can have up to 4 parts playing at the same time. Now, the one thing I really wish that this did do is give you the ability to change the tempo. It's quite quick as it works through, and it would be just fantastic if you could make it quite a bit slower. But there you go. If that's a help, hopefully that is a help. And even just to use this visually as manipulatives for students to see the different note lengths, I think could be a really useful thing. So that was Musicbox by Toy Theatre. All right, accordion. This is one that I definitely think I think people have maybe heard the name before or maybe seen it. I've mentioned it a number of times in different webinars and things, but I don't think that a lot of people are using it, and I really think it's useful. And I don't know why this didn't occur to me earlier, but it really did occur to me recently that you could really easily use this as a play-along tool. If you're teaching remotely or in a hybrid situation or even in person, and you might have some students on devices, or you just need to sort of spread out in the room and you maybe don't have enough instruments for them to play, they can actually use their computer keyboard. If they do have access to computers, they can use that as an instrument and play along with a YouTube video. Now, the thing that really sort of dawned on me in the past 12 months is the rise of these rhythm play-along videos. It really made me think that this is the perfect tool for showing the video at the same time as playing along with an instrument on the screen. This may or may not suit everybody because the students are not looking at a keyboard. They're not looking at a piano keyboard layout. They are looking at letter names on their computer keyboard. So let me show you how this works. I am actually going to jump across to this website so you can see it here. So here we are on the Accordion website. Now, I've actually popped a video in here already that I've chosen ahead of time, thanks to Cameron Motion from Elementary Groove Tracks. I've just chosen one of his videos on YouTube. I'll tell you why it happened, just pure luck. It happened to be a perfect one in a minute. But basically, you go to YouTube first and grab the URL for your YouTube video, and then you enter it into this box and press enter. Then it's going to show here. Now, yes, at the moment, before I press play, it looks like I'm not going to be able to see the whole video because it looks like it's blocked off. But don't worry, when I press play, you will actually see the whole thing. The view changes. Now, before I do that, I just want to show you down the bottom what I've set up here. This is I've chosen to set up a major scale, and I've chosen major pentatonic. So I can choose the chromatic version of major. I can have major blues, major pentatonic, and all these other options here. Now, I've also chosen the root note. Now, all of this affects what is showing down in the bottom section here and what my computer keyboard is going to do when I click and play it. This is super useful because I can now play along with what Cameron's doing in his video. I've also chosen a woodblock sound here. I'm actually going to go across here. Oh no, that one's changed. Okay. So I can click in this menu and choose whichever instrument sound I like. And there are a lot of instrument sounds in here. So there's a couple of things you can do with this. I can choose, rather than making it a rhythmic sound and playing along with the rhythm video, I can actually play a melodic sound and just use Cameron's rhythms that show in the play along video with my marimba sound down the bottom here. I'm going to go across to this one. This one's got the woodblock sound. And again, I've got these settings chosen here. So let me show you with the woodblock first of all how this works. I'm going to press play and then I'm going to use the keys down here. Hopefully this sounds. I'm hoping you can hear that. Let me turn the volume up of my instrument. All right, so that should be okay. I'm going to press play and then I can play along using the keyboard that I've got in front of me to play the rhythm that I see on the screen. I'm just going to test my woodblock there. Might be a bit soft for you.
1, 2, ready, go. Sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain, sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain, sunshine.
All right, so you get the
sunshine,
idea.
sunshine,
Hopefully you could
rain.
hear my instrument playing over the top of Cameron's video there. So that's the woodblock sound. Now, if I go back to this version, I've got the same thing set up here, but I've got a marimba sound this time instead. Now, it turned out that Cameron's piece that he wrote for this video, if I just, there's my marimba. So I'm just pressing keys on the computer keyboard that's in front of me, and I actually set up major pentatonic with a C root note, and it turned out that Cameron's video is major pentatonic based around C. And so it means that I can read the same rhythms, but perhaps just choose a couple of notes to play instead of a percussive sound. So what I'm going to do is press the letter which corresponds with the note C. Every time I see the word sunshine, that will be on C. And when I see him with the word rain in the rhythm, I'm going to play a G. So just those two notes. So here we go again. Wait for the count-in.
1,
Oh,
2, ready, go. Sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain, sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain, sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain, sunshine, 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 rain, rain, sunshine, rain, rain.
All right, that'll do. So short example there, but that's a really great use, I think, of this accordion website. Of course, if you have older students, you can choose something that's much more complex and they can be playing an improvisation over the top of a James Brown song or something else completely. There is a little tasting menu. You can click on any of these and it will bring up pre-made settings for the videos. So you can bring up Daft Punk, Get Lucky. And the keyboard automatically has the key, the matching key and the right sound for you to play along with that video if you click on this preset here. Now, before I leave this, I really want to point out that you as a teacher can set all of these things up yourself. You can set up the video, you can set the scale type, the scale, the root note, so that affects what octave the students are playing in, the sound down the bottom. And then you can go up to the top right and click the share button and it will share, you'll be able to share a link with your students, which has all of those settings already there. So they will click on the link, open up, and everything is set up for them to play. They don't need to go find the video and change all of these settings themselves. So really great website. I would highly encourage you, test it out over summer. If you're in summer, have some fun with it and see how that goes. Okay. So moving on, New York Philharmonic Orchestra. So a lot of people I've seen are kind of a bit devastated by the fact that a few orchestral-based websites have gone away due to the demise of Flash. This is the one I see most often mentioned. There are still a lot around, and you'll see them in the guide. I've got a whole section called Orchestra, but I just wanted to highlight the New York Phil Orchestra website because they have so many fantastic resources on it. So when you go there, there are a series of links. You'll scroll down on the page and you'll see that they have a whole series of What's in My Case videos, and these are made by the players. Pretty sure it was done during lockdown last year. They were at home and they basically open up their case and talk about their instrument and put it together. It's really fantastic to see. Some of them have family members in the background. One of the brass players has his young daughter. She's like 3 and she demonstrates how to buzz into the mouthpiece and she does it really well for like a 3-year-old. So that's all there. There's a series of video recordings of concerts that they've done using well-known orchestral works that lots of you use in your classes. There are lesson plans and worksheets. There's a 35-page activity book I had to skim through that one. Some great stuff. If you're still at school and like just want a few things to get you through the last few days, highly recommended this one. And there's some curriculum guides which go more in depth into orchestral works. So here's just a preview of a few of the things. So that's the home page, and when you scroll down, you'll see those boxes where you can click through to their resources, and they have resources for early learners right through to high school. So the whole range is there. This is screenshots from some of the things that you can download. That's the activity book at the top left that I mentioned there. The one on the right is a curriculum guide for, which one is it? Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, I think. And there's some listening journals that you can download, and that's a little snapshot of them at the bottom left there. Now, I've got a little bonus for you because I saw this during the year and I just thought it was great. So when I was looking at the New York Phil website, Amy's laughing and nodding. She knows what this is. I noticed that the associate principal viola player who does a lot of the New York Phil videos and things, I recognized her because I had seen this TikTok video during the year, which is so fabulous. This would be something, once your students already know Peter and the Wolf, I think this is a fantastic recap option. I'm going to play this for you. It's a less than 1 minute video of the whole story of Peter and the Wolf.
Peter and the Wolf in under a minute. Go! Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and went into the meadow. He met his friend the bird. A duck came along. And a cat. Peter's grandfather stood by the gate looking angry. Suppose a wolf came out of the forest. Then what would you do? Peter wasn't afraid. But grandfather pulled Peter back inside the gate. Just then, a big gray wolf did come out of the forest. The bird flew up into the tree. The cat scampered up too. In her excitement, the duck jumped out of the pond. The wolf got nearer and nearer. He got her and swallowed her in one gulp. Now the wolf saw the bird and the cat in the tree. Peter had been watching the whole thing. He got a rope, climbed the tree, made a lasso, and let it down. He caught the wolf by the tail. The wolf was mad. Just then, some hunters came along, shooting their guns. Peter said, "Don't shoot, let's have a parade." And they did. Listen, the duck, the wolf had swallowed her alive. The end.
Hilarious. So funny. You watch it about 10 times and you realize that there's a cat that jumps over the shoulder of the clarinetist each time. And it just cracks me up. The more I watch it, the funnier it got, because I realized like the timpanist is outdoors. He's like obviously in lockdown and he's got his timpani. He's had to carry them outside. I don't know why, to record his part. Anyway, such a great video. And yes, TikTok is literally my favorite place to be. So funny. All right, a couple more in this category. WhoSampled is a website. Again, this is not new to me or new generally, but just super useful. And this is really one for you as a teacher to go to. I wouldn't risk sending your students there unless you're working with very upper secondary senior students, because there will be things that they see on there that they should not see. But it's super useful website, and there's an app which you can download as well. And I have the app and I use it, fairly often. So this is a place where you're, so here's a scenario where I used this app just 2 days ago. I'm listening to a Dua Lipa song and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a sample in her song, which is from something else that I know. And it was a sample in that song too. That wasn't, the thing that I heard in the Dua Lipa song was not the original. So I was like, oh, I need to find out what that song is, because I couldn't for the life of me think what it was. And I went to WhoSampled, and funnily enough, they have like a top 10 chart on the front page. And that one was at number 1, because everybody has probably done what I just did, which is, what is that song that I remember that uses that same sample? And the sample, the song that I was remembering was the one that you can see on the screen there on the left, called White Town. And the sample, the original track that was sampled, is the thing on the right-hand side of my little screenshot there. So basically, WhoSampled allows you to find out the origins of samples in songs. And it's just really interesting and useful. And I think it would be a great activity for students to kind of look through history of music and work out where samples have been used in more recent songs, and where did they originate, and which other songs were they used in, How do they manipulate the sample? So the thing you can do on the WhoSampled website is compare samples side by side. So on my screenshot there, you can see White Town is on the left, and you can play that. It plays the YouTube video, and you can hear where the sample appears, and it actually gives you a timestamp. So it says sample appears at 00, so at the beginning of the song. So you play the song and hear the sample. And then on the right-hand side, you can play the original version of that sample. And again, it gives you a timestamp to where that is. And in this example, again, it's at the very beginning of the song. So you can hear side by side. The interesting thing, say, for this one is that the original sample is quite a bit slower. I think it's in a different key as well. And so you can listen to them one after the other and compare the two. The Dua Lipa song uses that same sample. I didn't put the screenshot for her YouTube video on there. If you've watched the YouTube video for her song, which is called, I can't remember, something about love, and again, I can't remember. Her YouTube video is definitely not for school viewing in the slightest. So, yeah, I didn't include that one, but you can go and check it out in your own time. Just don't play in front of your students. All right, so check that out. Again, super interesting. Having it on your phone is useful actually, because once you've listened to a song with a sample in it, you can click a button which takes you straight through to Spotify, where you can hear the whole thing and save it to a playlist. So I find that useful. Okay, Wakelet I'm going to mention just very briefly, mainly because I'm going to do a whole webinar about Wakelet next month. But this has been a fantastic, useful website for me over the past 12 months and longer. This is a way to curate digital content, and it works super well for you as a teacher, but also for your students to use, and it's totally free. There's so much I could talk about with Wakelet, but I will save it for the webinar next month. But you can just know that it's a great place for you to share and distribute links to a collection of things that you want to share out. So I've been using them actually for these webinars each month, and I've done that for, I think, more than a year now. So you can send people one link and it takes them to a page where everything lives. Works really well for digital portfolios for students, because you can add all sorts of multimedia text, you can add videos, you can add PDFs in there, you can add images and all sorts of things. You can collaborate with other people as well. So come along to the free webinar next month if you'd like to learn more, but totally free for all the features. This is one of the very fully featured free resources that is out there. Okay, moving on, let's talk about a few favourite websites. So these are ones that you've probably seen before, but there's some which have new features or updates that I did want to mention. And if you haven't seen them before, well, that's great, because you'll discover something new. So first of all, Rhythm Randomizer. I love Rhythm Randomizer. I know Amy loves Rhythm Randomizer too. Just a really useful website. And again, simplicity is a great thing, I think, at times. But having said that, Rhythm Randomizer did add in a few features, which I was really happy about. And the thing that this website does is that you can put some settings in. You can say, I want to see rhythms that consist of quarter notes, half notes, and the equivalent rests. And then you can click a button and it will generate a random rhythm, and it shows it really big and nice on the screen, and then your students can read that rhythm and play along. I sort of also discovered, and I know Amy does this too, that it's a great tool if you personally need to generate rhythms to include in teaching materials, like you want to just have a collection of rhythms, and ordinarily you'd maybe need to create those in notation software and take a screenshot. This is a really quick way of doing that. You can generate rhythms to your own settings and then just take a screenshot and then use that in your Google Slides or whatever it is. So I've put deceptively simple because it looks simple on the surface, but there's actually a lot of things you can do. And I'm going to pop across there now. The things that they added new in the last little while is the ability to actually play back and hear the rhythm, which wasn't there in the first place. I didn't mind that so much, but it is useful to have it there. But the best thing they added was a metronome. So you can actually set a metronome going, and then the students will clap along or play along with the rhythm. So let me just show you in the settings menu. So on the left-hand side here, you click on the cog, and here are all the settings that you can change. So you click through to these different little drop-down menus. I can change the tempo. The pitch is for the playback of this rhythm. So it actually plays it back to a pitched note. But I can come in here and actually change how many measures do I want my rhythm to be. Let's say we just want 2. We can change it there. I can choose a time signature. Let's go for 3, 4. I can choose the notes. And this is the place where you can really get stuck in and choose to leave out or include things that you want in there. So I can add some beamed notes, maybe some syncopation, and that's about that. Now, before I leave this window, I want to show you that you can actually click on the Share Settings button. And again, this is a great way. If you want to get your students to practice but on their own device, you can click this and send them a link, a copy of the link, and it will give them all of these settings without them having to go in and do it themselves. Now, I'm just going to click on the screen somewhere, and it will give me the new rhythm with my settings that I just put in there. You can either click on the new rhythm button or just click on the screen, and you can see how quickly it generates. I actually really like the elegance of their fade in and fade out as they change rhythms. I don't know why that's so nice, but it really is. So if I wanted to, I could hear the playback of this because I've got that turned on, I think. And you can turn on a count in as well and a metronome. So there's my metronome. The way I've got the metronome set up is with subdivisions of the beat as well, and you can turn that on or off as you like. So that's a few updates to Rhythm Randomizer, really useful. Next one is Xylo by PlaySprout, and this was super popular in lockdown. Just a great, simple xylophone that you can bring up on the screen. And again, it works on all devices. It looks really good, big and bright on the screen. What they've done that's new recently is add a few more notes, and this is dependent on the device that you're viewing it on. So if you have a larger screen, you can actually see, I think, another 3 or 4 notes on the end of that, the top C, up the top end. You can also, this is not as new, but there's also the option of having just a single color show, and it's a brown, a shade of brown. They've said that it's like the wood of a xylophone, so you can do that if you would like that option. You can also change the view settings to show true Boomwhacker colours or their original default colours, which was a little bit different to the Boomwhacker colours. And you can choose to see a G major scale, so there's an F sharp in there, or a D minor scale with a B flat in there. It's D minor, but it's not like with harmonic minor with the C sharp as well, so it's just got the flat in there, if that makes sense. You can also set it to pentatonic and chromatic scales too. So here's just a little picture of the settings. So you'll click on View Options, and that's where you can change those settings there. Canva, I'm going to mention Canva because I think not a webinar passes where I don't mention Canva. It was funny this morning, I was on Facebook and I just happened to see someone said, I have real trouble making my teaching materials look cute. Like, how do people do that? And like, I was typing a response at the same, I could see 2 other people were typing responses at the same time, and literally all of us just said Canva. So there you go. If you're looking for an online design tool that will help you make great looking resources, Canva is absolutely a fantastic option. The thing that I've said in the past, and the thing to highlight, is that it has a huge library of elements that you can use to create your resources in the first place. And this is the thing which is a huge point of difference to something like PowerPoint, which is very high. Like, PowerPoint's a fantastic thing to use to create teaching materials, but if you want to put a picture of a ukulele in your PowerPoint presentation, you have to go find a picture of the ukulele first and save it to your desktop and then put it into your PowerPoint presentation. And then you go looking for the recorder and the Boomwhacker images and the note images and all of the other things. Canva has all of those things in it. So it's just there. The other thing is templates, and the templates are fantastic inside Canva. So if you're not a designer, if you're not a graphic designer, and you're like, you want a beautiful looking poster for your event, but you just don't know how to start with that sort of thing, there are many, many templates in Canva, and you can adapt every aspect of them. You can change the font and the colors and the background image, or just change one thing, or sometimes you don't need to change anything at all except for the text on the screen. Last year, when virtual classrooms were a massive thing. Maybe they still are, the Bitmoji virtual classrooms. I went into, I thought, I'm going to just see what it's like creating the whole thing in Canva. And it was so super easy. I think much easier than using slides because I had access to all of those fantastic transparent little images in there. So everything you can see on the screen there in my classroom that I set up with the exhausted version of me on the ground there, all of those things were from the Canva Elements library. So the ukulele, the djembe, the little cup holder with the scissors sticking out the computer screen, the picture of the guitars, I put that and resized it into the computer screen. The notes on the whiteboard, the microphone stand, every single thing in there is something out of the Canva Elements library. Now, I'm also going to mention in the next little while I talk about these tools, a few things if you want to learn more about Canva. I've actually got a course. We did this last year and we ran like a group session of the course in the middle of last year. It was basically same time last year. And we had so much fun. We had a great group of teachers doing this course. And oh my gosh, we ended up with so many fantastic resources that everybody shared with each other, which was totally an unexpected side effect of having the course run with everybody doing it at the same time. So if you're interested in learning more about Canva, there's 5 modules of this course. We're starting the next group session on the 28th of June. And the modules are quite quick to do. If you've been doing my video creation course, it's a lot quicker than doing that one. So it's much more instant gratification with this Canva one. Basically, I would put a module up last year for the Canva course, and within an hour, people were sharing their creations. So it's just so much fun. So if you're interested in joining us for that next one, you can follow the link there, and there's lots more information about the course. I'm going to mention a couple of other courses we've got coming up as well at the moment to do with more free tools in a second, but that's my first one there. So Canva course, lots of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the whole thing about this was to talk about the new features inside Canva. So Canva has updates every single week. So if you are a Canva user, there's probably a whole I find this personally, and I use it a lot, that there's a whole stack of features which appear and I just haven't even realized they're there yet. So I do want to mention 2 things that when we were doing the course last year, I was a bit sad that they weren't in existence already. So when you use Canva as an educator, you can actually sign up for a free education account, which gives you as an educator access to the pro features of Canva at no cost whatsoever. You do need to get approved. You do need to send in some proof that you're a teacher. So you need to follow a process for that. But the thing that was not available for the educator account last year when we were doing the course was the ability to download designs with a transparent background. And that has changed now. So that has been added to the education account. So I could do it because I've got a pro account, but they've added it into the education account. And one other thing, we have a module in that course on creating digital badges. And one thing that Canva couldn't do last year was to curve text. So if you wanted text to appear in a semicircle shape, because on the badges we were creating, we'd have a little bit of, text where a semicircle shape would be really great. Anyway, we couldn't do it. So I just worked around it and had straight text, and it looked okay, but not great. They have now added that ability, so you can curve your text, a sharp curve, a deep curve or a shallow curve, anything you like. But there are lots and lots of other new features too. So I'm actually working on updating this course, and so the new version will be the one that's launching on the 28th of June. All right, let's move on. So I've called this section Lockdown Heroes. I just wanted to mention a few things which really proved to be so useful last year. And I think most of these were in existence well before coronavirus ever appeared, but they really became such lifesavers for many people last year. And again, all free resources. So the first thing is online whiteboards. And I did a full webinar about online whiteboards maybe in April or May. So if you'd like to get much more in depth with online whiteboards. You can go back and watch that one if you didn't already. I'm just going to mention two here, which are the two that I featured in that webinar, which is Jamboard. And this one's made by Google, and you basically have a white space that you can draw freely on. Your students can draw on. You can drag images in. Everyone can collaborate with each other. You can add text and sticky notes and a background image. You can upload other images to this. And I will say there are so many Jamboard lesson examples being shared online everywhere, especially on Twitter. If you get onto Twitter and just search for Jamboard, I don't know what, Jamboard lessons, there's a few key people who share them. It's just, there's so many lessons out there. And even if you find lessons which are not music specific, I'm guessing or betting that you can probably adapt them in some way to the music situation. So I look at everybody's examples, whether they're a science teacher or a geography teacher, because I can often make a correlation to music in some way. So just really good to get some ideas out there. Now, Jamboard is fantastic, but there are quite a number of limitations with it. And so if you're wanting something with many more features, which is also free, there is whiteboard.chat. And you can see a little example I set up in whiteboard.chat on the right there. Now, I said in the online whiteboard webinar that I ran that when you get to the point where you're frustrated with missing features from Jamboard, just switch over to whiteboard.chat. It's not the perfect tool. I do find it can be, because it's got so many features, it can be a little bit overwhelming for some people. And maybe at times a little, I don't know, I don't want to say clunky. It's not clunky, but sometimes it's not as quick to load and as responsive, I guess, as Jamboard. So if you want simple and Jamboard's doing everything you need, stick with that one. But if you want many more features, try out whiteboard.chat. And hey, they're both free, so there's nothing to lose by testing them both out. But yes, again, if you want more detail about those, check out the webinar that I ran, not last month, a couple of months ago. Okay, Flipgrid, another lockdown hero or saviour for many, many people. And if you haven't tried Flipgrid, this was again one that I had heard about for a little while, sort of maybe 3 years ago or so, and just didn't try it for a bit, and then tried it and went, oh, now I get it. I see what everyone's going on about. Flipgrid is essentially a video response platform. You ask students to give you a response to something, whether it's a performing thing or just the answer to a question, and they can really easily record an answer for you, and they all get gathered in one place. So there's no recording on your phone and then you've got to download that video and then upload it to some website and takes a while to load, or the video turns out to be too big and hassles. This is the answer to all of those problems. So many music teachers were using it last year to create playing assessments for students, to get some sort of feedback and engagement for students who were working remotely. But it doesn't need to be just used in a remote learning situation. It works really well in all teaching situations. So again, I can highly recommend checking that out. And I did do a Flipgrid webinar last year. Don't remember what month, but if you go to, I'll just say this link, maybe Amy can type it in because I didn't include it in our notes, but midnightmusic.com.au/free training. You'll see the previous webinars in there, and you can have a look at whichever ones you'd like. All right, more lockdown heroes, Loom and Screencastify. I still use Loom pretty much every day, and I know many of you do too. So Loom and Screencastify allow you to record your screen and or your webcam. You can do both at once, or you can do one or the other. And they also allow you to record tab audio. So that means you can record the audio coming from a YouTube video or from Chrome Music Lab if you have that showing on a tab. Fantastic for creating teaching videos, tutorials, if you need to show people how to do something somewhere, or assessment, feedback, anything like that. I use it to answer questions all the time. So if people ask me a tech question, members of my community, 9 times out of 10, I will answer with a video and just say, oh, okay, so to do that, you're going to click here and do this and then enter this and then press this button. And I show it on the screen, and it's much easier for me to do that than to type out those instructions in a written response. The sharing link, once you use one of these, the sharing link for the video you've just made is available instantly. Again, there's no waiting time for uploading and downloading and blah, blah, blah. It's just there and it's done. So fantastic tools. And you can also download your video. So the videos kind of live online once you've made them in a library that is, hosted by Screencastify or Loom. But if you want to download the videos to your hard drive, you can do that too. All right. I've spoken about those a lot, and in fact, I'm going to show you another place where you can find more information, particularly about Loom in a second, after I've spoken about DaVinci Resolve, because this is another video tool. And this is one that I started using last year, and I mainly started using this one because I wanted to create a course all about making videos, music teacher specific videos, play along videos and montage videos and end of year concert videos where you want to have a series of videos of your students performing and you want to kind of stitch them all together with some text and an intro and some maybe some applause in the background and some graphics on the screen. And I really wanted for that course to find a solution that would work for both Mac and Windows computers. There is, like there's iMovie for Mac users. It doesn't have enough features for what I wanted to do. There's also Final Cut Pro, which is their upgraded version, but that's Mac only. There's Adobe Premiere. Both of those are paid products, and I really wanted to find something for this video course that was free, that everybody could try out these techniques with. And I found DaVinci Resolve, and it really did meet all the requirements. So, so useful and an amazing amount of features considering it's a free product. Now, I will say if you want to get into video editing software and try out your own video projects, you really need to make sure that you've got a computer that can handle it. So I did put on the course information page that there are minimum specs required for your computer in order to run DaVinci Resolve. And this is true of Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere as well. All of them require a computer with, a little bit of grunt, let's be honest. Even Amy's laughing because I think even she struggled. There are workarounds and all sorts of things, and some of you may just find that your school computer is not going to cut it for this sort of thing. In which case, you can try WeVideo, and WeVideo has some limited features. It's free for a certain amount. I probably should have included it in one of these slides, but that's another option too. But really, for these advanced projects, you do need to have a computer that's going to cut it. Anyway, you can go to the website and check out whether your computer's going to be okay with it. And yeah, we used it for the course and it worked out really well. So if you're interested in more information about that one, this is the video creation for music teachers course. And this is a much more in-depth course. It was a lot of work for me to put together and consequently quite a bit of work for the course attendees to actually do all the projects in there, which I knew ahead of time. Video projects take a long time. If you've ever done any of them, you set out thinking that's not going to be such a big deal. And, 17 hours later, you're still going on this 1 3-minute video. It's just the way it works. Not all of them are like that. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Maybe not for the virtual ensembles, but for the other things, they can be very time consuming. But in that one, we do talk about using Loom for simple videos, and then we move on to DaVinci Resolve for the more complex kind of projects like the virtual choir, virtual ensemble type project. All right. And another lockdown hero. And again, it's funny, these just happen to be the things that we have been developing courses for in my community, and mainly because they are such fabulous tools and there has been such a demand for them. But I do want to include Seesaw here. And again, Seesaw, it's just a fantastic online learning platform, and it tends to be used a lot by teachers of younger students, so elementary teachers or maybe middle school. Having said that, you don't have to, just because that is the majority of the audience using it, it still works really well for older students as well. Basically, you can use Seesaw to collect work and share work with your students. The fantastic thing about Seesaw, which I think makes it stand apart from other similar tools, like Google Classroom is kind of a similar tool, sort of, but not really, and other things like, other learning management systems. But the thing that sets Seesaw apart is that you can easily invite parents and carers to be part of your class and see the work that your students are creating. So they get to see their own child's creations and work, and if you permit it, you can also allow them to see some group things. So there might be some things that the whole class has done, and you can say all of the carers that have access to your account can see them. So it just has that added aspect to it. The other added aspect is it has its own inbuilt way of creating activities in the first place, and for students to respond to the activities. So they can hit the record button and record themselves singing or playing. They can draw on the screen. They can add shapes to the page. You can set up a whole workbook for them to do. Lots and lots of things. Again, too much to talk about here, and that's why I will again mention that we have another upcoming course for this as well. And Amy's doing this one. This is definitely not me. Amy is the expert here with Seesaw. And so much so that she's written books about using it and all sorts of things. But we're launching this one on July 19th. So if you're interested in learning more about Seesaw, there'll be 5-module course for that one too. So that's the information page there. All right. Still going strong. I'm just going to finish off here with a few old favourites, really. But I am going to mention them because even though, like some of these I've been talking about, no kidding, for 11 years now. I added up the other day. It might even be longer. Beginning of 2009. So what's that? Yeah, it's like 11 years, more than. Craziness. Amy's doing maths week, 12 years. Thank you. It's not my strong point. It could be, but I just don't care that much about it. I said this to my son the other day. My eldest son is 15. He's about to turn 16 in a couple of weeks. And he's like, Mum, quadratic equations. And I'm like, talk to the hand, baby. Do not come for me. Do not come to me for help with that. As soon as I'm done with that, I put it out of my head at school. There you go. Old favourite. Let's get back to old favourites. Old favourites. This one's not as old as some of the other ones, but Chrome Music Lab. I know pretty much everybody's been using Chrome Music Lab, but I do find that whenever I mention it, there's at least one person that goes, oh, that's a really great website. So maybe you haven't seen it, and you don't have to have seen it at all. It's just a fantastic one to go and explore. This is a fantastic thing to explore while you're watching the TV in the evening and you've got your laptop on your lap and you just click through to the different sections and have a little play. There are 13 different experiments. They call them experiments. They're basically like mini websites within a bigger website, and they allow you to create music and play with music and explore sound. And I find that a lot of people say, hey, I'm using Chrome Music Lab in my class, and they actually mean they're just using the Song Maker, which is one of 13 different things within the Chrome Music Lab. So Chrome Music Lab Song Maker is one specific thing, but there are all the other parts of the Chrome Music Lab that you should have a look at if you haven't already. Here's a few screenshots from the different sections. I just dumped a number of them on there. Really fun. Top right, Kandinsky, you can draw freely on the screen and play your painting back. And it's a fantastic way of looking at the works of Kandinsky and how he related sound to shapes and colour, synesthesia. And there's a lot of people, Amy has shared lesson plans about how she's done this with her students in class. I think we published one on my website actually, not written by Amy, but written by someone else. But we have a few things on there. So definitely go check that one out. There's the shared piano, which is the little picture you can see in the top center there. The rhythm section on the bottom left, also lots of fun. The oscillators underneath the Kandinsky picture. Again, if you're doing a science of sound unit, there are a number of things in the Chrome Music Lab which fit really well with the science of sound, like harmonics and all sorts of things. So go and have a play with those. Incredibox, again, this is definitely 12 years of showing Incredibox. It was one of the first things I ever showed in a free tech resources workshop. And it's still going strong. This one was a Flash-based website, and they actually worked to switch it over to HTML5, so they didn't lose it at the end of last year. And they switched it over like a couple of years ago, so they were ahead of the curve. But there are 4 free versions or flavors of Incredibox that you can look at on their website, and they are free to use. In addition to that, there's an app which you can purchase for iPads and maybe Android too, I think. Anyway, that has extra. So there's 4 additional flavors. Unfortunately, my favorite ones are actually part of the paid app, the Brazil one, and there's an Indian one called something else, I can't remember. Fantastic, amazing, just amazing. The vocal parts in those are great. But you can use this to arrange and remix loops. You can record what you're doing on the screen. I think it's great for teaching beatboxing and a cappella singing and arranging and all those other things you can see on the screen there. Okay, Groove Pizza, another one of my favorites, which has been around for quite some time. This is made by the same people that made the Accordion website I showed earlier. This is drum patterns in a circular pizza shape. And again, lots of fun. I won't go a lot into that. Just, again, have a list of things to play with while you're in front of the TV with your laptop on your lap. Add this one to the list. And BandLab for Education, I did want to mention too. So for those that are looking for a GarageBand or GarageBand type solution and need to have a free option, BandLab could be something that you consider. The thing that you need to know is that you must access the education version of the BandLab website. So don't just go to bandlab.com. Look for the button which says take me to the education place, or I'm a teacher. Can't remember what the button says. But head there and set up an account there. And that's a great one to check out if you're needing a solution where you can record and also play instruments on the website. Just a great solution there. Again, I did a whole webinar about BandLab and Soundtrap last month. So if you want to get some lesson ideas and a bit more information about BandLab itself, go and check that out. And the last one I'm going to mention is Beastbox, funny little website. And again, I've been using this for years. It's not the prettiest of looking websites. Like, it's just brown and black, and could really probably benefit from a graphic design makeover. But hey, it's really cool. You can click on the screen and add notes, step sequencer style, and play back your composition. And actually, you can make really highly complex compositions. And I've been using it a lot because it has a great sound in the sound library. You can choose a sound which sounds very much like early video game, 8-bit video game music. So I've been using it a lot for making Mario-style video game music. And again, it's just a fantastic thing. If you are a member of the Midnight Music community, there's a full lesson plan all about making video game music with Beastbox. So head on in and check that out if you want to have a look more at that. All right, that's it. That's it for my highlights. There's so many more options in the guide, or listings in the guide, of free websites that you can explore. There's all sorts of ear training and music theory ones, and oh gosh, lots of other sections which I really had to really decide what to leave out of today's session because there was so many things I could have shown. But if you would like to get a PD certificate for today's session, here's the link where you can download that. I think I tested it and I hope it works. So it's midnightmusic.com.au/PD Free Tech 2021. And I will I'll actually pin that link to the top of the chat window in a second. And I'll also pin the link to this as well. So just a reminder, if you do want to sign up for a trial of the community and see what it's all about. I'm a little bit excited. I set up this whole roadmap, kind of like a checklist for new members. So when you join, there's a little checklist of things to do, and it looks really nice on the screen, I think. Anyway, so if you join up, you'll see that, and you'll be prompted to complete the steps of that little checklist, which is called the Welcome Roadmap. So it's a $1 offer for 14 days, and then it reverts to our normal monthly amount after that. But I'd love to see you in there. So both Amy and I are inside the community, and lots of courses that you can access. And if you've got some time over summer and you would like to do that, I would love to see you in there. I'm going to switch over to our open Q&A time, so I'll stop screen sharing. If you got sent a link for this webinar via your email, you'll get a link for the replay as well within 24 hours and the place where you can download a copy of my slides as well. All right, let me switch over here. We can do Q&A time. Buttons. Can we just say how happy I am that the dog stayed okay this time? I'm gonna add you to the stream, Amy. Coming on. Here we go. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, sorry. Hang on. I'll click your. Yeah, that's it.
Don't mute me.
You unmuted and I muted at the same time. Thank you,
Oh, we're
everyone.
good that way.
I hope everyone found some new things there. I'd love to know. Actually, Amy can tell me. Did many people have new things that they said? Yes, that's new. I haven't seen that before. I was going to announce that my aim was to have at least everybody discover one thing new for the webinar.
I gotta say, I think the first one you showed, the Sodaphonic,
yeah.
that one seemed to be like, wow, you
Yeah,
know.
that's why I put it first, because it was like I don't know, I think I was most excited about that one today as a one that I thought people might not have seen before.
We do have a question from Julie about that. She wanted to know if it allow pre-recorded editions, professional, or is it just live music?
No, so yeah, when you first open it up, there's a button which says, it was a bit quick in my video that I pre-recorded, but there's a button that says upload audio or record new audio. So if you've got something already, let's say you've got a track and you just want to chop the end off your the song that you've got, you can upload the song to that website and then place the cursor, delete the end part, and then make a nice little fade out. I use Audacity for that all the time, but Sodaphonic would totally do it just as easy. Yeah, really good.
So sorry, Dale. My microphone was quite strong, so I put it back over here and turned that down a little bit. But Dale actually did have a question about your 14-day trial.
Oh, yeah.
Does it begin when you sign up, or does it begin today? I noticed that I was putting up the info that it ends June 18th, but does it begin the day you sign up, or like you're only starting it?
Yeah, so you could sign up Friday if you want to, and it will start then, so that's all good. yeah, totally.
All right. Yes, so much. Sorry about that, Dale. It's like quite loud. Sorry about that. Beth asked if we did the Canva course last year, will we get access to the updates in the new course? I did say, like, if you're a member, you automatically get updates. But she said, I just paid for the course, but I'm not yet a member. Great course, by the way. So,
thank you. And great question. So I will say, if you go to that Canva information page, like the course information page, there's actually two ways you can sign up for that course. It's something we did just for this course because the course itself suits non-music teachers as well as music special teachers. And so you can either access it through the community or you can access the standalone version. And I'm going to update both. I explained to the course members last year, the nightmare of setting up that course behind the scenes for standalone paid people and members. In my head, we could have it all as one course, and so an update to Module 1 would mean it's just an update for everybody. But in fact, we had to replicate the course in two different places. So the standalone course, people log into a different area, which looks kind of the same, but I will be updating it in both places. So yes, if you did do the course last year, you'll get all the updates. Everything will be the same over there too. And my theory with that course, this course is a little bit different to all other courses in that you can use this course as a bit of an accountability thing to create teaching materials that you might need for the coming school year. So if you've done the course and you just want to do it again to have deadlines for creating a new poster and a new worksheet and a new whatever, come and join it again. Like, you have access anyway. So everyone who's paid for that course still has access to it. So you can come and join the Facebook group that we'll set up again and just join in the buzz. We had a big buzz with that course last year. It was so much fun. And yeah, so I feel like it could be a good one to do again.
Kathy's asking about the price of the course. Is that something we can just put on the screen of finding the information?
Yeah. Just told me you cannot find the link when I joined. I'm not sure what that means, April. Oh, come back to you in a second. The Canva course, so you can either join the community to access that, or as a standalone option, it's $97. And I'm just going to check that because I hope I'm not saying the wrong amount here. Hold on. I'm going to the, oh no, that's the wrong page. Hold on. I'm going to the information page just to double check. Yeah, so if you are interested in just that course and you want to just purchase access to that, you can do totally. Let me just double check I'm giving the right information. Yes, $97. That's right. US dollars for my friends in Australia.
That's a great price, Katie. That's a really great price. I did just put in there the link to the course, as well as, again, the link to the trial, because I think that's what April was talking about, was the link to the trial.
I'll put that in the chat window, actually, at the very top, just so it's
great.
Yeah.
Kat, one of our faithful website designers, right, Katie? She was coming to me on Slack during your webinar. So we were having some technical difficulties going on. She said the website was running slow. I was putting in the YouTube because sometimes the webinar would just not play. So the YouTube link was going in there. And then people said they were having problems getting the free guide. So you have to be patient. The free guide is coming. I did put it in, and then it finally came during the webinar. So it was before the webinar that I put that in.
Oh,
and
right.
then, yeah.
And probably and I will say probably the reason for that is we've sent it out to all of the members, and everyone on my main mailing list has many thousands of people on it. So when we send a link out, sometimes it just gets a little bit flooded. So come back later on. If you don't get anything through, let's say within a couple of hours, try to be patient until then, because poor Michelle and Santina, who look after my emails, will be flooded with where is my guide emails? If you can just wait a little bit for that and just give it a moment to come through. And do check your spam, because I know a lot of school filters decide sometimes they just block it completely, and we don't unfortunately have any control over that, but sometimes it sends it to the spam folder. I have found that if you're having issues and you have a personal email address instead of a school email address that you can try, that could be a better option. So if you've got a Gmail account, maybe try that one.
LS Music Dragons over on YouTube. I dropped the link to the free guide. That's what had all the links. I was putting the link every time you went to something, Katie. I put the link up in the chat windows in both places. But get all her links. You want to do yeah, you want to do what's on top of our chat window, or in YouTube. I just dropped that link again.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, I'm just popping the trial link up the top there. There we go. I wonder if I should add the course information page links as well, just in case. Maybe I'll just do that too. While we're talking, we'll continue to answer questions while I fiddle
around. Big hits were Blocklet. Am I saying that right? That one I didn't know.
There's a microphone on there, like a speaker icon on their homepage, so that you can hear how to pronounce it. And I'm thinking, I feel like if you have to do that with your business name, I don't think it's a great choice. It makes me laugh. I don't know. Maybe it makes it really memorable.
True. There's a few of those websites I remember that always having to ask, how do you say it again? Which is the one that Idokio. Idokio was always one that
because I thought it was Idokio, and then it kind of sounds like a what do you call it? Bush dance. We call it bush dancers here. Is that what you call it over there? Bush dancing. When there's a caller who calls out the dancers, and you do a do-si-do around the person. Anyway, that's what makes me think of. So what do you do for that one? Idokio,
yeah. So LS Music Dragons, my links aren't coming active when I throw them on YouTube. So I would advise you go to midnightmusic.com.au. Did I get that right? Yes. It's always tough to remember which way goes first. So midnightmusic.com.au, and then it's you'll find a lot of the information there. You can get the free guidebook that she's going through this entire webinar.
we actually, I think we put the lovely Katrina, who's my content manager. I think she put the link on the homepage actually now as well. Let me just double check. It's the latest blog post actually. She's just published it. And actually, if you're a member already of the Midnight Music community, we've uploaded it inside the community, so you don't need to re-enter your email address. If you can just pop in there and see it. Yeah, on the very homepage of my website, you can scroll down a little bit and you'll see the link there. If that's for those on YouTube, that might be.
Nancy. Nancy, I just put the PD certificate. Yep, it just went back in there. Oh, blue kit. Wow.
Yeah. Why? Who knows? I'm just adding the PD certificate. I've got a massive load of links up the top here now, but that's okay. They're all there.
Okay.
All right, I've added the PD certificate link check. Great, Nancy, got it. Excellent. Oh, thank you, Susan, who says thank you. Thank you, guest 301. Sorry, I don't know your name there. Great. All right. I think that's all good. Well, I hope you all did find something useful. I'm patting myself on the back for not taking like 2 hours today to get through everything. In my head, my webinars are always going to be about 60 to 75 minutes, and they never are. But anyway, I think today I did do 75, so that's a good thing.
You did. You totally did. And it was great, like paced, Katie. I always love your websites, your webinars, because they're so nicely paced. You're never too short on something and never too long. So that's why you keep all these people here, because they're like, what's next? What's she going to show us next? And it's amazing.
See you in July. Yes, whoever that last person was. Yeah, there's some just great things around at the moment. I get really excited. Sodaphonic, it's funny. It's just such a simple tool, but super useful. I love Audacity, and I still use it, even though I've got like much more expensive software on my laptop for editing audio. I still use Audacity because it's so the waveform is so clear on the screen, and you can really get right in there and choose to eliminate one syllable of a word or a couple of beats of music, and it just works so well. But Sodaphonic, I feel like it's kind of like that too. So it's great. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Diana. Diana's like a regular at these webinars. I see your name each time. Yay, Kathy, I can't wait for the Canva course too. I need to get onto the updates. That's me. Yes, Jim, I mentioned Moat actually in I think it was in the Chrome extensions webinar, which was
Yes.
3 months ago, maybe
sometime
sometime this year. I did a web, so I did mention it. I like it. It's really good. There was a few things which were paid, I think, which were better. Like it was better functionality when you had the paid account version, but yeah, still some great ones. I feel like there's a whole podcast episode. Someone I follow subscribe to on a podcast, they just did a podcast episode on it. It could have been Casey Bell from Shake Up Learning, I think. Anyway, someone, if you want more information. That's great. Thank you, Beth. See you next month too. Yes. So the Wakelet webinar, usually these webinars are in pretty much the middle of the month, but next month it's going to be like a week later because I'm doing a conference in the previous week, which is in New Zealand. May or may not be there in person. I'd like to be there in person, or I may just be online because Melbourne's been through another lockdown and I don't know if I can leave the country, but maybe. Maybe. Shared piano, Jerry, should definitely work on Chromebooks and iPads too. Yep. Yeah, test it out. It's a funny one, shared piano. I feel like you need to give quite a bit of direction to the students if they're collaborating on shared piano. Like the thing I wish shared piano would do, here I am saying just, again, accept the free resources for what they do and whatever, but shared piano, I really wish you could change the scale that's used to, well, two things. I'd love to be able to reduce the length of the keyboard because it gives you like a full length keyboard. I'd love to just go, I just want a short one, just 1 octave or maybe 2 octaves or so. And the other thing is it'd be great to be able to just change the scale that's used. So just set it to pentatonic or something. because it's like all the things. So for young students, I feel like that's a bit harder. Have you used it much with your students, Amy? In a
No, not much. No.
Yeah, it doesn't always work. I think you're saying it doesn't always work on the other ones. Maybe. Just maybe check the browser that you're using. That would be my suggestion as a first option. Chromebooks, it definitely should work on. Definitely should work on Chromebooks, because Chromebooks are kind of like, Chrome is their thing and Google is their thing, and it's a Google thing. That wasn't very explaining. iPads are always interesting with free websites. Sometimes they work really well and sometimes they don't, and that's just to do with the way the iPad is built and the way the website's built, and sometimes they work really well together, and other times you just have to go, okay, this is not a thing for iPads. What was something like that I found recently? You just have to go, nah, it just doesn't work for iPads. Yeah. Great. JC, thank you. There's lots of J names all in a row in the chat window. How funny. We've got Jerry, Jim, Jane, JC, and Janice or Janice.
What Janice is asking about Staff Wars.
Oh, I meant to mention that. So at the beginning, I said we had to delete a couple of things, and I think I ended up leaving that out. It's not, so my understanding, without actually having talked directly to the developers who have done that for the love over the years, they've basically had those all of their free tools just done it out of love of doing things like that. They have already been saying on their website for a long time that they were not continuing to develop the free resources. And in fact, last week when I was double checking every single link, which I did do in the guide again, I already had someone check them, but I just also wanted to have a look. You cannot go to their website anymore. It was not loading. It was just, there was nothing there. And this is the place where you would download the free version of Staff Wars. Maybe I haven't checked it today, but their website is The Music Interactive, and nothing was happening. Like, it was just a blank page. So
yeah, Janice, what I've done is I just have the app on my iPad, and then I don't AirPlay that one just because the kids are playing it as a group. So I project it hardwire, and my second and third graders love it all year, even on my board, and I have to erase it now, but they had these high scores going and they were competing against each class. But the app works quite well, hardwired right into the screen, but
and this is the app on the iPad, though, or I think Android devices as well. So I think what's happened is the desktop versions of all of their things are no longer a thing. They're just no longer in existence. They stopped developing them. They were putting their effort into the app version, and that's a paid app. So if you have an iPad or an Android device, try what Amy's saying, I reckon. But it still does work on there. I still have the downloaded version on my Mac, so I can open it and use it, but you can't go to the website and download it now if you want to for Mac or PC for free. So yes, for that reason, I removed all of their things, unfortunately, from the website. Yeah, I mean from the guide.
Katie, if I have uploaded it. This says now, if I try to open that downloaded version that I've had for years, it says it won't open it anymore on my Mac.
Mine,
yeah.
I haven't tried it for, maybe a couple of months at least. So yeah, it says it needs to be updated. Yep. So I think we all have to just let that go, the free version. Unfortunately, we did have 12 years of the free version, and appreciated it. I think that was the first thing I showed in a free tech resources workshop that I ran back in 2009. And that was the time I started to make this guide. I was like, I better put a list of the links together for all the things I showed in the workshop. And it started out being probably 20 things, and it just grew from there after year. So yeah. So I just got to let that one go. But yeah, the app version, if you have the budget to pay, I think it's less than $5 or so. Thank you, Dale. Still, you're retired, but still try to find resources for other teachers. Oh, that's good of you. That's very good. Yeah, I think it's useful just to, I like to mention things in passing for people, like, oh, I don't know, I saw this thing you might like. And yeah, I do that. Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. We might wind it up here. And look, I hope I'll see you inside the community at one of the upcoming courses. I know I mentioned a lot. I don't normally mention a lot of those things during the free webinars, but it really, it was sort of, pertinent today with what we were talking about. So do come and join us. The Canva course is so much fun. Oh my gosh, we just had the best comments last year and the best resources were shared. And that was the thing that took me by surprise. I did not predict that, of course, everyone's making resources as part of this course and everyone's sharing their designs in the Facebook group. And then everyone else in the course is going, oh, I'd like a copy of your poster. Can I use that template? And so then we had a huge collection of templates being shared with all the people doing the course. And so we'll get that going again. We've still got all the ones from last time round. So I will make sure that we just add to those. So we'll have double the amount of templates and things. So yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. And looking forward to Amy's course again, which is starting in July. And all the other things that are going on. So much going on at the moment. Okay, so we'll see you at the next webinar, which is July 21st, I think it is. That's my date, actually. It'll be July 20th for those in the Northern Hemisphere. And other than that, enjoy your break if you're on a break and enjoy winter if you're here in Australia with me or New Zealand. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Amy.
Bye.